already sad case, but even more so because of the holidays now.
That was just really a tragic loss here in the city.
Pittsburgh Mayor Chanel Scales Preston is heartbroken.
Hello, I'm Michaela Jeffers. Next year, I plan on attending LMC for sociology and pre-law. In the future, I want to be a juvenile justice rights lawyer. The issue I'm addressing for my government project is that higher rates of crime, ACEs, and violence in Pittsburg, California increases the risk of repeated offenses and juvenile delinquency, especially for children and teens. So, if you don't know what ACEs are adverse childhood experiences, often traumatic events that have a long term effect on the health and development of the child. This happens from birth to age 17, and often the effects are not just in your childhood, it carries on to your adulthood also. You may be wondering, what impacts do ACEs have? Well, as the number of ACEs increases, so does the risk of negative health outcomes. So the possible risk outcomes includes behaviors of lack of physical activity, smoking, alcoholism, substance abuse, and missed work. For physical and mental health, possible risk outcomes include severe obesity, diabetes, depression, suicide threats, STIs, health disease, cancer, stroke, COPD, and broken bones. When violence happens in schools and communities, young people often struggle to feel safe and supported. And this isn't limited to one type of environment and community. Violence can affect any community across all income levels. According to data from the National Center for PTSD, in the United States, more than 1 in every 3 child 10 to 16 has been a direct victim of violence. This is not just a statistic, it's a reality many people live with every day. To understand how we can prevent youth violence before it starts, I decided to talk to someone who directly works with students every day. This is why my interview is with the JROTC instructor. Colonel Pauls has played a major role in shaping how us high schoolers view discipline and guidance from source different from our families. Hi, I'm Michaela Jeffers, and I am here with
Tony Paz. I'm originally from San Jose, but after 26 years in the Army, I came to Pittsburg, California. So I'm a retired colonel. I was asked to help set up junior ROTC here at Pittsburg High School about 3 years ago. Very happy to have done it. I see it as contributing to a big community service project. And the program is all about teamwork and leadership, which anybody who's been in the military knows a lot about. So I'm happy to start a second career as a teacher.
In your opinion, how serious do you think crime is in Pittsburg, California?
No, we don't have the crime rates that big cities have, but theft, sideshows, robbery. Crime is still crime, and Pittsburgh, has its fair share of crime, like any other towns about the same size. So yeah, it's very concerning because people move here and live here, and wherever they work and play, they want to feel safe.
Are there any programs, policies, community efforts that you may know of that is going on in Pittsburgh?
One of the oldest programs, of course, is Neighborhood Watch. I think social media has done a wonderful job of connecting neighbors who may not normally talk to each other. In any case, neighborhoods working together and getting to know each other is definitely a frontline, community action that can help reduce crime. Other formal programs, because what are the causes of crime? There's the old saying that idle hands are the devil's work; they make mischief. So, what are those projects or what are those activities that can get people involved? Where if they weren't, they might lead to conducting criminal activity.
Are there any specific types of crime that tend to impact young people more than others?
Yeah, young people, all the things about being a teenager, wanting to prove themselves, very susceptible to, they want to be part of the cool crowd. So a gang or other small group, teenagers are a great group of people to recruit to conduct criminal activity. And it'll start out small, like, hey, we're gonna get all of our e-bikes and just say do a takeover of an intersection, or come watch the sideshow. Not stealing anything from anybody, but you're still committing a crime. Crime is right there waiting to happen. If they're not careful. So yeah, I believe that this is a dangerous period for a lot of young folks.
What solutions do you think would be most effective, and do you believe they will work?
The most effective solution is to just get involved. Just if you are a parent, an adult, that helps reduce the instances of crime that'll fill in a gap or fill in the void. The police, their resources are limited. They can only do what they can do. Getting an opportunity to go meet a law enforcement officer, go up to them and chat and share information is a good way to build trust between the community and the government organizations that are here to help.
What is your opinion on after-school programs or community centers for children in communities at risk for violence?
So when I went to school, my parents had to work, and school was out at like 3:30, so they can't come pick me up. And the school had a couple of after-school activities where I went to school in San Jose. There was a language program. There was other activities. The thing that comes to mind why after-school activities are so important is because it helps keep kids engaged in a safe place, like at their school, and they can continue to build upon those friendships and skills, even outside of the formal classroom. So it's extremely important to have after-school activities. And if it's not at the school, it could be at a community center. And maybe again, it involves grown-ups chipping in together, coming up with cool ideas, and it requires everybody to get involved.
These perspectives show that behaviors is often shaped by deeper issues like trauma and exposure to violence. Research on adverse childhood experiences supports this by showing how early experiences impact long-term effects, but early intervention helps and works. Did you know that Pittsburg, California is 37th percentile for safety? That means that we are safer than 37% of cities, and we are less safe than 63%. Crime is normally measured per resident, meaning that airports and big establishments, kinda in the southeast of Pittsburgh, has a lot more and higher crime rate compared to a place with less people. And although the violence trend has been decreasing, trauma and violence is still an issue. Have plants around and just go outside. I want to connect this to my environment a little bit, especially when it comes to the solution. Growing up, I didn't grow up in a good community at all. There was violence at each corner, each door, and it was just not that great, especially for children. And honestly, a lot of the parents were stuck trying to provide in any way they could. A lot of my friends had single mothers, single parents, and just trying to provide, they would have to go to work several hours and couldn't be there for dinner for their children. It was just really hard. Oftentimes, in spaces like underserved communities, parents get angry and frustrated, especially with the lack of resources. Those dealing with the children oftentimes need a break. Everyone might need a break, especially when they've been dealing with a lot. So, with my solution, I decided the best effective way for children is to just have more funding for community centers and after school programs, especially them that have trauma informed practices, teaching the children emotional regulation, teaching them conflict resolution, and just being able to teach them how to interact with other people, to just be there for each other, especially living in the type of environment that they all live in. That's why community centers, in my opinion, are the best. They help the children that are in risk, especially in the places that are more at risk for violence and crime. The center teaches the impacts and the importance of emotional regulation and just being a friend, especially just introducing cops in a different light. For children and families, that's where the children can go and be safe. In the next clips, I'll show you some pictures and videos of just things that were at the center and just videos of me and my friends.
It's not where you come from, it's where you belong. Nothing I would trade.